Thank you so much. What a pleasure it is to be with you. I try not to be emotional, and Bob got me all emotional, so thank you for that. I've been lucky enough to be a part of a lot of interesting things in my life, and perhaps the loveliest part of my life is that my heroes are my best friends. So I appreciate that, Bob. Thank you. And Tommy Hunter. All we try to do in our life is build a place where the rest of the world knows that what we do in Canada matters, and that the rest of the world can come to Canada and come to Toronto. And Tommy Hunter is really the trailblazer in that department. You had everybody on your show. Nobody's been able to repeat what you pulled off. A major inspiration to what we've always done, so thank you so much. I think it was 1981, 82 when we were living in Rexdale. My mother said we're moving to Malton, and I hadn't quite heard of Malton. She said it's where the airport is, and I said, all right, well then let's go there. I always wanted to travel. I didn't realize at that point you had to buy plane tickets, but we'll go to Malton. My entire life wouldn't be what it is if it wasn't for the place of Malton. I learned everything I needed to learn out of life from that place. My mother took me all over that community and turned me into the human being that I am today. Just down the road in Rexdale, she would drop me off in the mornings at a library. I didn't know at the time she couldn't afford a babysitter. She would just send me in the library doors, and she asked the librarians not to let me leave. And I would just go in there and wander around, and I wondered why all the librarians were so attentive and were always handing me books. And as it turns out, they were in on the conspiracy with my mother. And I spent my mornings reading, and then she'd pick me up for lunch, and then later that night or that afternoon she'd drive me down the road to the Central Park Lodge, a senior citizens home there, and she would do the same thing. She'd say, now go inside and find somebody and be their friend. She said, there are a lot of people in this world that are alone, and it's your job to be there for them. It's your job to listen to them. And I'd say to her, I don't know what to say to them. And she'd always say, don't say anything. Listen. And I think that's why I'm the curious guy that Bob talked about, because of the work that my mother put in, and I really, I wouldn't be anything without you, so thanks, Mom. Thank you. Robert, I've interviewed Robert as well, which is really exciting. I'll just say there's so many things I could say about growing up in Malton and Mississauga. I will always be a Malton boy. I'll just say one for you. I've gotten into a lot of trouble in my life in Malton, a lot of trouble. And it was a complicated and compromised neighborhood growing up, and it still is, but I was able to avoid a lot of issues, but I'll always remember the day Malton saved my life. I was in Pakistan. We were doing a story, the humanitarian crisis. There was the war. There was a major flood. And so because I grew up in Malton, I had a strong Pakistani and Indian community. It was a place that was close to my heart. My best friends growing up were Gurnaik and Satnam and Neelish and Prakash. So I knew how important Pakistan was to my upbringing. So I wanted to go there and see what we can do and how we can help. And I get there and we're filming. And obviously the government didn't love all the stuff we were filming. We went as journalists, so they didn't like some of the stories we were doing. So one day we're in the middle of a street, we were in Lahore. Things were kind of raging around us, and the Secret Service walked up to ask me to stop filming. And I did what my training taught me to do, which was basically just ignore him. And so he kept talking to me, and I just kept turning my back to the cop. And I started to realize that our interaction was going to get a little more heated. And so I was trying to stall so that my camera operator could take the tape out of the machine and run. Because I figured if I got arrested, that's okay. Don't lose the footage. So I say to the cop, I don't even believe you're a cop. And he pulls out his ID and I can see he's a cop. And then I say, that could be fake. And I'm doing everything I can to stall this eventual me getting arrested in the middle of Pakistan during a war. And I'm all going through my head is, this is going to go badly. And I keep digging myself a deeper and deeper hole, and the Secret Service, his ISI, starts to get even more angry at me, and he starts pointing at me. He's like, I'm going to throw you in jail. So I did what I only knew how to do is I started swearing at him and pointing back at him and said, no, you won't. And this got worse and worse, and I can see my camera operator running away. And just as he's about to flip me over and put handcuffs on me to arrest me, a car screeches in the middle of the road. I've never been to Pakistan before. And suddenly, this woman jumps out of her car and she yells, Strombo. And I look over at her, and I don't know her. And the cop's about to arrest me, and we had a big fight, and my camera operator's running, and we both, the cop and I, look at this woman, and she just yells, I'm from Malton. And I looked at her and I went, Malton! And I ran up to her, and the cop had no idea what to do, and he just left me alone. So everything that I can ever do on behalf of the city will never repay what she did for me and what Malta did. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody on the Legends Road Committee. Thank you.